My name is Fei He. I come from Department of Epidemiology and Health Statistics. Today I will show you the knowledge of epidemiology. The first part of chapter 1 is the introduction of epidemiology. So what is epidemiology? Let's take some examples. Like how many new cases with COVID-19 in this country or how many in this month, this year? What is the change of COVID-19 among different age groups in the population? Or what is the distribution of COVID-19? How about the factors that influence or determine the distribution of COVID-19? If we immunize the population with vaccine, does it prevent the epidemic of COVID-19 or not? Or we don't want to investigation of COVID-19, we also can change this word into the other disease. And if there is a disease occurring in our population, we'd like to know who and where and when and why are they developing it. We also would like to be able to compare the disease distribution in different places, different time, and in different groups of people. We may want to know what is the possible cause of the disease, and we also may want to take some measures to control or prevent the disease. So we can get to the definition of epidemiology, which is the study of the distribution and the determinants of health-related states or events in specific populations, and the application of this study to control of health problems. According to the definition, what we need to do is to describe distribution, find the determinants of the problems, and the final purpose is to control health problems. Next, we will take a brief view of the history of epidemiology. This graph shows the 10 leading causes of death in the United States in 19,000 and 2009. During the 20th century, there was a dramatic shift in the causes of death in the United States. In 19,000, the three leading causes of death were infectious disease, such as pneumonia and influenza, tuberculosis, diarrhea. However, now we are dealing with chronic disease such as heart disease, cancer, stroke. Consequently, the kinds of research intervention and services we need today differ from those that were needed in 19,000. In the early days of epidemiology, up to the 20s, the leading cause of the population has been infectious disease, such as plague, smallpox, flu, cholera, syphilis, or for modern epidemiology from later of 20th century, non-infectious disease, non-communicable chronic disease has emerged as major problems of the public health. Early fighting against infectious disease led to the development of epidemiology. We are going through several most important events in the early days of epidemiology. The first event is quarantine. Even though microorganisms were not identified until the 19th century, the people found that disease might be infectious and can spread from person to person or from animal to person. And isolation of the sick people might control the transmission. In 14th century, in Europe, the sheep were asked to stay in an isolated area before arrival into the pot for 40 days to protect the community against the Black Death. The second event is vaccine. The end of the 18th century, the world's first vaccine by Edward Jenner to prevent smallpox. Even for today, vaccine is still the most effective way to control infectious disease. The third event is in the middle of the 19th century. John Snow figured out polluted water in London Bond Street causes the spread of cholera and made great contribution to the control of cholera from the perspective of epidemiology. Then from the late 18th century comes the new era of epidemiology. And the first most important achievement is in the late of 18th century. James Lind revealed the cause of scurvy of is vitamin C deficiency, which led to development of experimental epidemiology. The second most significant event is in 1930s. John Hill carried out case control and prospective cohort study and found association between cigarette smoking and lung cancer. Since then, case control and cohort study have been widely used in etiology exploration of disease. And the most successful cohort study in epidemiology is the Framingham Heart Disease Study, which revealed many important risk factors for heart disease. Today, due to the progress of the use of computers, analysis of large databases, and complicated calculations, epidemiological investigation have become tools for problems in medicine and public health regarding both biological and social facets.